Welcome to the video for Chapter 8 of Ecce Romani. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at some aspects of Latin verbs. So we're moving away from nouns here. We're going to see some new endings of Latin verbs, and we're going to see the verb to be. So for those of you who have taken a foreign language before, this chart should look somewhat familiar. In the columns, we have singular and plural. That's a quality that we call number, and nouns have that as well. Verbs also have a quality called person, which is over here with first, second, and third person. So this is how we display our verbs in Latin. It's a chart for organizing how we display our verb forms. So singular just means one person is doing it, plural means more than one. And persons, for those of you who play video games, you'll know that first person is when you're the person doing the action. You are seeing it through the eyes of the person who is doing that action. So first person is identified with I, or the plural of I, which is if I'm with a group of people and we're all doing the same action, I'd say we. Second person is a little bit trickier. That's when I'm talking to the person who's doing the action, and I'd say you. And then in English, the plural is also you. So I like to differentiate between the two yous by saying you all. You'll sometimes see you with plural in parentheses after it. You, plural. And then third person is when you're talking with someone about this other person who's not there, who's doing the action. So it could be a he, or a she, or an it. And when those things are plural, it's a they. So you should have a space to copy this chart down if you want to pause the video for a second and do that. So we can put any verb in this table, and that process is called conjugating. So to conjugate something is to write out specific forms of that verb. So if you want to take a minute to write that down. So let's conjugate a verb in English. We'll conjugate the verb to juggle. So we would say, I juggle, you juggle, he or she or it juggles, we juggle. I'm going to stop writing this out. We juggle, y'all juggle, and they juggle. Okay, so I juggle, you juggle, he, she, it juggles, we juggle, y'all juggle, they juggle. So you'll notice that for the most part, the only thing that changes here is this pronoun, this word that precedes the verb. I, you, he, she, it, we, y'all, or they. So I'm going to have you try to conjugate your own verb in English using the same table. There should be a table on your worksheet to do this with, and you shouldn't find it to be too difficult. You do it unconsciously every time you speak. So pause the video for just a second and do that. All right. So you'll notice that, as I said before, the main thing that changes is the pronoun. The I, the we, the you, etc. There is that little change in the third person singular when you add an S, so it's he, she, or it juggles. But it's just a small change. What I really want to emphasize is that Latin does not change the pronoun. Instead, it's the endings that change to move through that chart. So this shouldn't be surprising. You've already seen the endings change with nouns and adjectives. If you've taken a foreign language, you've also seen those endings change. They change in Latin as well, and they are the most important thing. Most often, Latin authors don't even use pronouns, that I, that we, or that you. They just let the ending of the verb tell you what it's supposed to be. So let's take a look at what those endings are in Latin. So there's a long O for first person singular. There's an S for second person singular. There's a T for third person singular. There's MUS for first person plural. There's TIS for second person plural. And there's NT for third person plural. So altogether, we can say OST, mus, tis, unt. So pause for a minute to write these down. So let's add in a Latin verb there. Let's use our verb perare. You can see that up there above the singular. I'll write it in down here. So we're going to have pero. We're going to have peros, perot, peramos, peratis, and peront. So this is the verb I prepare or make ready for, you prepare or make ready for, he, she, or it prepares, we prepare, y'all prepare, and they prepare. Pero, peros, perot, peramus, peratis, peront. You'll notice, for one small thing, that you have the long marks here, over the A, over the A, over the A, and over the O here. You do not have long marks in the third person, singular or plural, over that A. Also notice that there is no A here in the first person singular. The first person singular often stands out. So it's not perao, it's just pero. So that's something to keep in mind, is that the first person singular doesn't have that, but notice that the endings are all there. O, S, T, mus, tis, unt. Let's look at another one. So let's take a look at audio. This is the verb I here. That I is going to be short. Audis, or audis, excuse me. The I is long there. Audit. Audimus. Auditus. Audiunt. Okay, so we got a few different things going on here. One, you'll notice that the vowel, the I, stays here, whereas in pero, the A did not stay in the first person singular. The I is there now. You'll notice that there's the weird U hanging out there. So those are a couple of things. Once again, you'll notice that all four of the first and second person forms have that long vowel in them. Here it's the O in the first person singular, and then it's the I everywhere else. Let's take a look at one more. So, sedeo is I sit, sedes, sedet, sedemus, sedatis, sedent. So here you have the similar issue here with the vowel staying, whereas with pero it did not stay. Here it stays. Sedeo, sedes, sedet, sedemus, sedetis, sedent. So finally, we're going to look at one very special verb in Latin, and that is the verb to be. So this verb is irregular in English as well. You'd say I am, you are, he, she, or it is, we are, y'all are, they are. So it has these couple different forms, am, are, and is. In Latin, it is a little bit more irregular. First person singular is sum. Second person singular is es. Third person singular is est. First person plural is sumus. Then estis. Then sunt. So you'll notice that you've already seen the est and the sunt forms for he or she is and they are. Here we have all those other forms. Sum, es, est, sumus, estis, sunt. So, I'm going to ask that you prepare yourself for a quick quiz. You should be prepared to do these things. Know the endings of the verbs. So that's the ost, mustis, und. You should be prepared to conjugate a random verb. So look at those 3 examples that we went through, and that should prepare you. And you should be prepared to conjugate the verb to be. So the sumus est, sumus estis, sunt. So you'll have plenty of time to work on this before the quiz, but this is what you should be prepared to do. So let me know what questions you have, and thanks for watching.